What would you do if walking into a wall of fire was your only choice? Before you answer, subscribe for more powerful stories of courage, sacrifice, and survival. This is a story about what happens when fear meets responsibility. The call came just after midnight. A third alarm structure fire, apartment building fully engulfed. For rookie firefighter Leo Hayes, this wasn't a drill. The past 6 months of academy training, the drills, the smokehouse, the endless lectures on flashovers and backdrafts, it all felt like a distant dream. Tonight, the heat was unforgiving. The engine roared through the sleeping city, its siren a scream tearing through the quiet. Leo's heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic drumbeat matching the thrum of the diesel engine. He checked his gear for the 10th time. Air tank, full. Mask seal, tight. Axe, secure. Everything was in place, except for the one thing he couldn't check. His own nerve. Arriving on scene was like pulling up to the gates of hell. Flames licked out of a dozen windows, painting the night sky in terrifying shades of orange and red. The heat hit him the moment he stepped out of the truck, a physical force pushing him back. People were screaming, crying, their faces illuminated by the inferno that had just been their home. His captain, a seasoned veteran named Eva Rostova, barked out orders. Her voice was a steady anchor in the swirling chaos of radio chatter, hissing hoses, and the roar of the fire itself. "Hayes, you're on entry team with me and Miller. Search and rescue, 3rd floor. Reports of a family trapped in 3B. 3rd floor." The words hung in the air. The fire was worst on the upper levels. Leo nodded, his mouth too dry to speak. He followed Rostova and Miller, a bear of a man with 15 years on the job, toward the building's entrance. The front doors were gone, replaced by a gaping black mouth belching smoke. "Masks on? Stay low and stay together," Rostova yelled over the din. The moment he stepped inside, the world outside vanished. It was a realm of pure sensory overload. Smoke was so thick he couldn't see his own hands. It wasn't just smoke. It was a toxic soup of burning plastic, wood, and insulation that clotted his throat. The heat was immense, pressing in from all sides, turning his heavy turnout gear into a personal oven. Every instinct screamed at him to turn back, to run out into the cool, clean air. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through the adrenaline. It whispered that he wasn't ready, that he would fail, that he would die in this suffocating darkness. He could hear the fire. It wasn't just a roar, it was a living thing, growled in the walls, hissed through the vents, and crackled overhead as if it were chewing on the very bones of the building. Somewhere above them, a section of the ceiling groaned, a sound that promised imminent collapse. "Stairs, move." Rostova's voice cut through his panic. He focused on the boots of Miller in front of him, a dim shape in the swirling blackness. Left foot, right foot. One step at a time. The training kicked in. Keep one hand on the wall. Sound the floor in front of you with your axe. Breathe. Just breathe. The rhythmic hiss of his regulator was the only constant, the only proof he was still alive. They reached the 3rd floor landing. The heat was even more intense here. The wallpaper was peeling off in blackened strips, and the air shimmered. They began their search, sweeping rooms with practiced efficiency, calling out, "Fire department, is anyone here?" Silence. Only the crackle and roar of the flames answered. They moved toward apartment 3B. The door was hot to the touch. Miller used his Halligan bar, and with 2 powerful strikes, the door splintered open. A blast of superheated air and smoke rolled out, forcing them to their knees. Inside, the visibility was 0. Fan out. "Search left," Rostova commanded. Leo crawled into the room, his gloved hands sweeping the floor. He felt something soft. A rug, then something hard. A toy truck. His heart seized. He called out again, his voice muffled by the mask. "Fire department, call out." Faint whimper. It was nearly lost in the noise, but he heard it. It came from the far corner of the room. "I've got something," he yelled into his radio. He crawled toward the sound, his light cutting a weak beam through the smoke, and then he saw them. A mother, huddled in a corner, shielding two small children with her body. She was conscious but terrified, unable to move. Miller was there a second later. "We got him." "Captain, we have 3 victims conscious." "Copy that." Rostova's voice crackled back. "Get them out, now. The ceiling's getting ready to go." As if on cue, a loud crash echoed from the hallway. A section of the roof had come down, partially blocking their exit. Panic flared in Leo's chest again, hot and acidic. They were trapped, but Rostova was already there. "Miller, you take the kids. Hayes, you've got the mother through here." She pointed toward a window. "We're going out to the ladder." The plan was insane. The window led to a sheer drop, with only the aerial ladder from the truck below. But it was their only way. Miller, with a child under each arm, disappeared through the window first. It was Leo's turn. The mother was weak, disoriented. "I've got you," he said, his voice hopefully more confident than he felt. "We're going to get out of here." He helped her to her feet and guided her toward the window. The roar of the fire was deafening now. He could feel the floor vibrating beneath him. He pushed her out onto the ladder and into the waiting arms of another firefighter. Just as he was about to follow, a massive section of the ceiling above him tore loose with a sound like a freight train. He dove through the window, tumbling onto the ladder platform just as the entire room behind him collapsed into a cascade of fire and debris. He lay there for a second, gasping for air. The sounds of the fire replaced by the shouts of his team and the cool night air on his face. He was covered in soot, exhausted and trembling. But he was alive, and so were the people he was sent to save. Later, sitting on the bumper of the engine, the fire now under control, Captain Rostova came over. She handed him a bottle of water. "You did good tonight, Hayes," she said, her voice quiet. "You were scared. I saw it in your eyes." Leo looked down, ashamed. "I was terrified, Captain." She put a hand on his shoulder. "We all were." Courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about being terrified and still doing your job. It's about taking that step into the smoke anyway. Tonight you learned what it really means to be a firefighter. Looking at the smoldering building, at the families reunited on the sidewalk, Leo understood. The fear hadn't vanished. It was still there, a cold knot in his stomach. But something else was there too, a quiet pride. He had faced the dragon and walked out of the fire. This story reminds us what it really means to be brave. It's a reminder that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. What did you think of Leo's first test? Let us know in the comments below. If you want more stories that push the boundaries of human courage and technology, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.